welcome back to my channel. So today I'm super excited to actually film this video. I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup I forgot about, which is basically just going to be a full face of products that I used to be obsessed with and used to love, that as new things kind of came into my collection I just stopped using or found things that I liked better, I think. But these are things that I used to like use up all the time, like highly recommend them to a bunch of people, and we are going to be revisiting everything. And I haven't used most of this stuff in like months, so I'm really excited to try it out and see how everything works together. There is just like two things that weren't like my favorites. One of them I think is new, and then the other one is something that I've used like once and forgot about, so you'll see when we get to those. But I guess we will just get started. I'm so excited to film this. I'm going to be going in with my IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Primer. This is the oil-free makeup gripping base and pore refiner hydrator. So I used to love this so much. I think I even talked about it in like an old video, and I was rewatching it and I was like, oh my god, I used to love that primer. So we are going to go in with this. And I remember when I would use this, I would like even notice like a difference in my makeup and that it would last a lot longer. Upon like initial application, it feels very similar actually to the Milk Hydro Grip. However, this one, instead of drying down and getting sticky, I feel like this one dries down and it gets unsticky. Like it's not as sticky as the Milk one. So this one is like a huge throwback. This used to be my all-time favorite foundation ever. This is the Essence Fresh and Fit Awake Makeup Healthy Glow with Vitamin Complex and Cranberry Water Foundation, and I'm in the shade number 20 Fresh Nude. I actually used up this entire bottle and I repurchased it, and this is the bottle that I repurchased within, I think it's like within the last year or so. And I repurchased it, and then I had already found things that I was using before like it came, and then I was using other things, and then this just kind of got pushed off to the side. And I have like I have like three foundations that I mainly use, which is the Kosas Tinted Face Oil, the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, and the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, I think it is. It's like the new naked foundation that they have. Those are like my three favorites, and that's what like I have out on my desk. And then everything else, like my other foundations that I have but I don't like actively use, I have it like a little like drawer set. So this was in the drawer set, and I was looking through it and I'm like, oh my god, I used to be obsessed with this foundation. So we are going to give it another go today. I remember like I would put this on and it would last like the whole day, and even as it wore away it would still look so good. And that's just like a really like good memory of it that I have. So I'm just going to dot that on my face. Hopefully it's a good shade for now. And I always used to blend it out with a sponge, and I actually used to be obsessed with this sponge. This is the Fenty Beauty sponge. I just really haven't been using sponges that often to apply like my foundation and concealer. I've normally been using just like a foundation brush, like the IT Cosmetics buffing foundation brush is like one of my favorites. So I've just been using that, but I always used to apply this with a sponge, so I want to give it the best shot of like how I actually used to really like it. Yeah, so it just really nicely evened out my skin, adds a little bit of like a healthy glow to it, which is like what the package says. You could definitely get this to build up to be a little bit more full coverage. Right now I just did like a very thin light coverage layer of it, but it can definitely be built up, which is just something to note. But the color of this, I remember, was just like a perfect match for my skin, like blended out. It matches me perfectly, so I'm super happy with that. And then for my concealer, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I've probably gone through like 5 of these in my life. Right now I have the shade 5 in my possession, but I haven't used the shade 10 before. But this one's just a little bit lighter, so it'll do a little bit more brightening. The consistency of this is so good, and I would always compare it to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I feel like it's a very similar, like it's supposed to kind of look like a dupe in my opinion, just because of how like the bottle looks. The formula is very similar, so I'm just going to blend this out, and this is like a very nice natural finish, pretty good coverage, and it would not ever look cakey under my eyes. So I'm hopefully going to like this. I think recently had one in my empties video, like the latest one that I did, because I did use one up this year, and then after I finished that up I haven't used another one, and I had repurchased one, which was this one, so I'm excited to kind of be using it again because it is still fairly new and I don't want it to just go bad because I kind of like forgot about it. Concealer is like the one thing where I find one that I really like and then I'll just kind of like forget everything else for the time being. But then I remember that I do have other favorites, and this is definitely one of my other favorites. So you can see it just really brightened it up, added some nice highlight underneath my eyes, and I'm excited to see how this wears throughout the day. The only thing I'm a little worried about is for my powder. I have one that I got, I can't remember where I got this from. Not sure. I received this like from somewhere for free, or like came in like a subscription box or bag or something like that. This is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Translucent Peach Whisper. This one I haven't really used. I don't know if I actually even used it yet. I took off the plastic off the sifter because I was going to use it, but then I think I got the Hourglass powder, so I never actually ended up trying this one out. But I have heard pretty good things about this, so hopefully it comes out good. I'm just going to be taking my Morphe M438, which is my favorite brush to set my under eyes, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that powder and tap off some of the excess in the lid. I just like looked closely in the mirror, and I feel like it actually looks really, really nice. It gives a very similar finish to like the Hourglass and my Beauty Bakery powders, where it's like very finely milled and very finely airbrushed, so it just kind of like looks poreless underneath your eyes, which is like one of my really important steps. Like I feel like it makes such a difference to me if I have a good powder. Ooh, also some of it just like got in my mouth and it tastes really good. It tastes like peach. I was mentioning, I feel like a loose powder is something that's really, really important for me to have a really good one in my routine. So I'm actually really happy to keep using this one, and I'm going to put this in my everyday makeup drawer because I really like how it came out and how it feels. Like it doesn't feel tacky under my eyes anymore. It looks very smooth, so I'm really, really happy with that one. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to be taking my Ciate London Marbled Light Powder, and this is in the shade Cashew. This is what I thought would be like kind of what the Hourglass powders would be like, but they actually have a little bit more coverage. You can see, put it on the back of my hand, but it does have kind of a luminous glow to it, and I actually like it more than the Hourglass powders, just to kind of use as a finishing powder over the rest of my face. I'll just kind of put that like all over, and it just adds, it like sets my makeup without making me look too dry. And it's like the perfect color for me too. This one I used like a ton. You can see it was kind of like a baked pan, and I've pretty much like flattened it out. So I'm really excited to actually keep using this because my makeup looks really, really nice, and you can see it it adds in a little bit of a glow. Like it doesn't take away, it sets your skin without taking away the glow. And for my bronzer, I have the Kiko Milano Ocean Feel Bronzer, and this is in the shade 01 Warm Honey. This one I used for so long. It was one of my favorites for forever. Again, it is a baked product and the pan is huge, and I've flattened out quite a bit of it. It's not completely flush with the pan yet, but I did flatten it out quite a bit because I was using this every day consistently for like months. This one is just so good. It's a little bit of a lighter color than what I would typically go for, but even though it's such a light color, it's still very pigmented, so it like, I don't know how to explain it. I would always use this one with my Becca, I forgot what the shade was, Bali Sands, or the one after it, Capri Coast, I think, yeah, I think Capri Coast was the one that I had. I would use this and then use Capri Coast kind of to deepen up like on my cheek area a little bit, and it was just like the perfect combination. And then I used up my Becca one, and then I started using my Buxom one, which is the one that I've just been using pretty much all the time now. And then I also recently picked up the Nabla bronzer as well, and that one is so good. I love the two of those. Those are like my two favorites. But this one is so nice. I don't think they have this exact one available anymore because they always make like limited edition collections, but I do think they have a Valentine's Day collection out right now with basically the same bronzer. Like they make the same bronzers, but just release them in different limited edition packaging instead of keeping them like permanent for whatever reason. But if you can get your hands on any of these like marbled giant Kiko Milano bronzers, you need to pick them up, and they smell like chocolate, and it is just like so good. I love them, and they're so easy to use, so blendable, and they have a little bit of a glow to them, so it's just so pretty. These are like some of my favorite bronzers in the entire world. And then for my blush, this is like so exciting. This is so nostalgic to me. This is the Seraphine Botanicals Lychee and Gold Healthy Glow Rose Gold Blush. This is the blush that got me into blush. This is the one that I got in an Ipsy bag, like, it has to be like over a year ago at this point, and I used it and I was like, oh my gosh, I love blush. Like, it made, I remember like every time I would use it with this brush specifically, this is the Ulta Beauty blush brush, it would just like airbrush my cheeks. I would be completely poreless. It just had such a pretty finish to it. And now I typically go for something a little bit darker. Like, this is pretty light and peachy for me, but I just remember I would use this and it's just so pretty. Like, even now it has a little bit of that rose gold glow to it. It just completely erases my pores on my cheeks and it just looks so pretty. I don't know where they sell this brand. I don't know if you can only get it like from their website or like maybe off of Ipsy. If you're an Ipsy member, you can purchase it from them as well. But it is just such a pretty, gorgeous color, and it just makes my cheeks look and feel so smooth. And this is what got me into blush, which is like so special because I really, really love blush now. So I absolutely love this one, and I just haven't reached for it because I've like been so excited to kind of purchase and play with and use new blushes, so I just haven't used this one as much. But I have to keep this in like my everyday makeup drawer because I forgot absolutely how beautiful it is. And the highlight is actually from a highlighter palette. This is the Soph X Revolution highlighter palette, and I used to use this all the time. You can see I've put quite a dip in this shade, this one I used a lot. Even this one over here, which is like, it looks kind of green, but it just has more of a really light, it's like a very like frosty highlight. It's like this one right over here, and I used to use this all the time. I love Soph Does Nails, or I guess Soph Does Life is her name now on YouTube, but she is so good. She's one of my favorite beauty YouTubers. So I would just kind of mix all of these together and then tap off any extra, and it is just such a pretty glow. It is like super, super blinding. These have such like a smooth finish, like they're not glittery at all. They're just really, really glowy. And then even now, like, this is a little bit too much for me, so what I'm gonna do is just take my blush brush, whatever is left on it, and just blend it out over wherever I placed it, and it just creates this really pretty glow over my cheeks. And I love these highlighters. I just never reach for palettes, so I need to kind of put this somewhere where I would like actually reach for it more. But I love the formula of these so much, and it always makes me remember how much I actually like a really nice and glowy highlight. Before we get into anything else, I'm gonna put on some lip balm. I just wiped off my lips, and I'm gonna be using the NARS Orgasm Afterglow Lip Balm. I was so excited to buy this, and I used this a bunch over the summer, but since the summer, I just haven't really used it. You can see I used quite a bit of it, but I just stopped using it for some reason, and I was so excited to buy this. And it's such a pretty color. It's kind of like, it's very similar to my natural lip color. It's like a little bit more pink, but I think I got like the Dior Lip Glow like balm, and I was using that over this because that one was a little bit more creamy and a little bit more moisturizing. This one is a little bit of a thinner consistency, so it's not like my favorite for a lip balm, but the color is so good and it was so expensive. I think these were like $30 something, and like I don't even know why I spent the money on this, but it's really pretty. I really like it, but it's not like my favorite thing. It's an old favorite, but like not a current favorite. Okay, so then for my brows, I have two products. This is the Uoma Baby Hair Brow Pencil, and I have this shade 04. And this is a really good brow pencil. I just haven't been using pencils. If you've been watching any of like my most recent videos, you would know that I've been loving the Benefit Microfilling Brow Pen and the 24-Hour Brow Setter, which is like a clear gel. And I used to do my brows so differently. There was a point in time where I was using the ABH Dip Brow, and I used that for like years, but I don't even know if I have that anymore. If I do, it's like somewhere that I lost it. I don't know where it is, but I used to use that and like a tinted brow gel, which this was like my favorite tinted brow gel. So today I'm going to be using this, and this is the Tarte Busy Gal Brows in the shade Medium Cool Brown. And this is like a super thin brush, and I used to use this all the time. And there's still, like, I use this a ton. I don't even know how there's that much product left in it, but I'm going to be using these two products, which is very different from how I do my brows now. I just got like close up to my mirror to do my brows, and my skin looks like perfect. My under eyes have zero creasing. I have no pores. The glow is like undetectable. Like this is the best my skin has been looking in like months. Like I am obsessed with how this looks right now. I'm just so glowy and so smooth. Like my skin looks fake. I don't know what it is, or if it's just like the combination of these products, but I am like so obsessed right now. I think that it looks so good. And then while I'm like going on and on about how my skin looks, I'm going to set my brows with this brow gel. Okay, then for eyeshadow, this is the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. I used to be obsessed with this palette back in the day. Like this was one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes to use in like, I think like my freshman year of college, maybe. I'm graduating this semester, so I've had this for quite a few years. Some of the shades have like gotten messed up. Like this has like hard pan in it, and then I actually used to use this shade right here as my highlight, and it was so pretty. That's in the shade Butter Pecan or Butter Pecan. But I loved that. Today I'm just going to do something super simple, which is just like what I used to do. I'm taking this shade right here, which is called Mousse, and I'm just going to put that all over my eyelids. And this is just like a really simple, pretty neutral brown, which is like I still go for like the same looks. And these are really, really good. The mattes still perform really, really nicely in here. And even though it's old, I even think I got this at like TJ Maxx or something. Like it was like probably old when I got it, but I just love the tone of this eyeshadow so much, and I used to use it all the time. Alright, so that's that. Looks very, very pretty. And then I think what I'm actually also gonna do is take this shade right here, which is called Rum Raisin, which is like a very similar tone. I think it just has a little bit of like a sheen to it. It's kind of like a satiny shimmery finish, and I'm just gonna put that all on my lid. It's a little bit of depth to my lid. I just wanted something super simple today just because I'm not really going anywhere or doing anything crazy. So we'll leave it at that. That's just like pretty much my everyday eyeshadow look. I didn't want to do anything too crazy just because that's like how I used to use the palette, was like kind of with this look. So we'll leave it right there. Alright, and then now up to lashes. So I'm a little scared, to be honest, because I'm really happy with how everything's looking so far, and I don't want to ruin it by using a mascara that I don't like. But we'll see, maybe I will like this. When the time that I purchased this, I wasn't open really to using new mascaras. I was like very on just using my L'Oreal Telescopic, so I guess we'll see how this one comes out. I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes and then I'll apply this. Alright, so lashes are curled. Oh, I don't remember if I mentioned, but this is the Essence Lash Princess in the waterproof version. I purchased this back when it was like super popular, the original one, but I just never really used it. I used it like once or twice, and then after that it just kind of got pushed to the side, and I just stuck with like my favorites. But off of immediate application, that's already looking really, really nice. And I think with a couple coats, as long as my eyelashes stay curled, which is like my main issue with mascara, is I'll apply it, my lashes will look good, and then they'll just fall instantly. If this stays curled, then this will be pretty good, and I'll probably keep it in my everyday drawer, just because I've been liking experimenting with some mascaras and using different ones to get different effects, and this is a very nice like volumizing one. I think that looks super pretty. Right, so this is the mascara, and I think it looks really nice. It makes me look like I have like a ton of like super thick lashes, so I think that actually looks really pretty. And I'm actually gonna move this out of my just like extra storage into my everyday drawer because I'm interested in continuing to use that. I think it looks really, really pretty, and I'm so happy with how everything came out. Oh, I did actually forget to apply setting spray. I'll do a little bit right now. Normally I like to do it before I do my mascara, but I'm going to be going in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. You can see I used a ton of this. I actually just shook it, so it's really like down to here. That's just bubbles at the top. I used to use this all the time, and then I got like sick of the smell of it because it has a very nice smell, but a very strong smell, and then every time I'd use it, I'd just be like, oh, I'm like so sick of using this. But it's really nice. It makes my makeup last. It looks really, really pretty, and adds a nice touch to everything. But wow, I am so happy with how everything came out today. I'm really glad I did this video because if I hadn't seen like this trend going around within the last couple of weeks, I probably wouldn't have done this, and I probably wouldn't have remembered how much I actually love all of these products. So I'm gonna have to be moving these all into my everyday drawer, even like the powder. Only thing I think I could do without is the NARS balm, but I think it looks really pretty. It's just not as moisturizing as I like for like the cold weather. but I don't know, maybe I will put it in and then we'll use that on the bottom and then layer like something clear on top. But yeah, I think that everything looks so nice, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!